So today we're going to be learning all about mixing. So I got this beat right here. Let me play it for you guys. And so it's good, but it's just not there yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all of my instruments and I'm going to bring them down besides the kick and my bass. And so what I'm going to start out with for this bass is I'm going to go into slot 1 right here, and I'm just going to add Fruity Wave Shaper. And then I'm just going to take this and bring it up just a little bit, and let's listen to how that sounds. And if we bring this first point up, it brings up that little bit of distortion. And now that we have our wave shaper, we're going to go and EQ it, because I don't like all of that high-end distortion. It's just going to be super busy in our mix. So I want just a little bit of that distortion still in there, but not too much. And then I'm also going to go around 230 hertz and then scroll that down so it's just a little bit narrower. And then we're going to see what's going to help our kick sit. So what we're doing with that right there is it around that 215 to 300 hertz area, there's going to be a lot of muddiness in our bass. And so there's what's called like frequency masking, where it's just where the presence of that 220-ish hertz in our bass is going to mask some of the frequencies in our kick to stop it from punching as hard as it needs to. So then when we pull that down in our bass, it brings our kick up in perceived loudness. And so then if we go to our kick, we're just going to want to do a lot of scooping of the low end. So what I tend to do is I go to steep 8, and then I just bring this down around 37 to 45 hertz, and then you want to scroll down to get that up, so that then you'll be able to boost some of that low end to keep a lot of that thumpiness there. And so then I just kind of sweep until I can still hear the kick and body, but it's still kind of keeping some of it out of the way. And you want to pull down some of these high ends just because I like my bass to be low and thumpy. And so without that EQ, here's how the kick's going to sound. And with that EQ. So you hear how it just kind of brings up the bass even though we're scooping some of it out, and it helps it sit better in your mix. I like to think about my mix with 3 main parts. You have your bass elements, which are going to be your kick and your 808. You have your melodies, which is going to be that second part. And then you have your snare, which is going to be that third part. And so you want to kind of balance everything around those and make sure that those are going to be the main elements in your mix. And although they may not be the loudest in decibels, it's going to be about that perceived loudness, where your melody is going to be lower in decibels, but because it's on a much higher frequency and it's going to be panned out throughout your headphones, it's going to sound a lot louder than it actually is. First off, what I'm going to do before anything else is I'm just going to rename this our melody bus, color it, and then Command Shift, and then right click right there. And so it's going to route both of these to our melody bus. And then first things first, before I even turn it on, I'm going to right click that steep 8 and then high pass, bring that up to about 95 hertz so that we scoop out all that low end information, so it's not going to be clashing with our bass. And so right here I have my chords, so I'm going to want them to be a little bit in the background but still very present where you can still hear them, but not overpowering because it's not going to be our main movement. So what you really want to focus on is balance. Make sure that everything is balanced with each other and nothing's really sticking out on top of anything else. And so then we have 2 parts to our melody. We have our bass, which is going to be the chords, and we have our movement, which is going to be our flute. So usually how I like to do it is with something that's in the background, like the chords. I want to add some reverb to add some space. And then when I have something with a lot more movement on it, like our flute, I'm going to add delay to enhance that movement and make it sound a lot more dramatic. So right here, I'm just literally going to go straight to Fruity Reverb 2, and then go to our Cathedral preset, drag down that bass. Our low cut, we're going to want to start around 300 hertz. And then that high cut, let's bring it up to about 7K. And then we know we're going to want to turn that wet down because the cathedral preset is super big. And then our stereo separation just a little bit to create that wideness. Let's go straight into our BBC orchestra. And let's just lay down a delay 3. I really like the stock FL effects, honestly. So what I like to do is bring my delay time down by 1 notch, and so then it's going to be on some sort of offset delay. So we're going to want to bring our tone down a little bit to tame the high end, and then we're going to want to bring our high pass to about 350 again. And then I like to turn on ping pong delay to add some cool stereo width. And let's turn our wet down so it's not too overpowering, and let's see how that sounds. There we go, that sounds really good. Alright, so I want to add just a little bit of compression on this because that high note really gets a lot louder, and so I just want to dial that back. And then you just want to add a little bit of makeup gain to bring that back up. Because the point of compression is really to tame the loud parts and bring up the low parts so that's a lot more equal. So you want to make sure you're adding a little bit of that makeup gain so that then after you slam everything, you still bring everything back up. And then I got a little bit of secret sauce right here. I'm just going to go to virtual mix rack. So it's really just an EQ, compressor, another EQ, and some saturation. It's really simple. You don't need to have this fancy plugin. It just works for me. It ties everything together nice and well. And so next off, I want to just tame everything with a little bit of compression. So you see, we're getting to about negative 24, 25-ish. So I'm just going to start at 25 to bring that ratio up to about 4. Add a tack down. And so then we want to get our makeup gain again. There we go. And just enough saturation to kind of tickle it, but not go too crazy with the crackliness. So then let's go to our clap. And then I just want to use this EQ to bring down to about 90 hertz so it's not bleeding into our bass. And another important thing we want to start thinking about with our drums is going to be our stereo image. So what I like to do is I like to pan my clap one way, my hi-hat the other way, and then the open hat far opposite to my hi-hat, and then my second snare far opposite to my clap. Just to add some stereo width so it's not all dead center. Because I like to keep my bass elements pretty centered, and then I let my reverb and my delay add my width to my melodies, so I don't really have to worry about panning them. But you want to make sure you pan your drum elements to add some width to it. Let's bring our hi-hats up next. That's really just about it for mixing. So I'm about to go master this track real quick. If you want a tutorial on that, I already have one made on my channel right now. I'll make sure to link that up there for you guys. And if you want to check out some more melodies like what I have right here, I have a World Eater loop kit down in the description. It's completely free for you guys, so go check that out if you guys want. And yeah, I appreciate you guys for tuning in, and I'll see you soon. Thank you.